Well, I'm not sure. Well, there she is. I thought I'd go ahead and start. I didn't see Lynn around, but I'm going to go ahead and start. Start off with my theme song, Closer to the Source. When spirit people come together, it's just a beautiful thing to see. They come to talk about doing good, spreading love, philosophy, closer to the soul. You'll find peace in confusion, get closer to the soul. And happiness, it won't be just an illusion. Get closer to the soul. It'll make your day, make it oh so bright. Get closer to the soul. Yeah, little children, your delight. I started dealing with reality, and once I did, I found the goodness in me. And I decided to pass it to you. That's what I should do. Don't you agree? We'll spread the feeling across the nation. Gonna be the good folks bringing out from everywhere. They come to tell you that deep inside, love abides within you. Yeah, first I'd like to thank Veronica. Always fantastic. Always has great things that I need to hear and wonderful meditation. So I'm so happy that she is on this station and that I discovered her, and she's a very close friend now. So that's fantastic. And as I listen to this song, it reminds me of the experience that I have had the last, I think it is 5 days, in watching the Pope in Mexico. And he's definitely an example of this song and spreading um, goodwill, spreading love, spreading hope. And hope is not usually a word I like, because it just implies that we know, think that something is missing in our lives. But I mean, the truth is, the people that he is talking to really do feel what is missing in their lives, which is a result of separation. And even though he has not really got to that separation, but it's close enough to where he is on target as far as what's not in their lives, as like a course student will understand it, is God. Um, as a religion, they still hold on to, like, there is a presence or person of God that should be prayed to, and would intercede in, if he chose to intercede or not. So they're still there, but the content of a lot of his things are right on target with the course student. And also the example that he has set by going where he has gone is an example of someone walking the talk. And if he's to see someone like that walk the talk, I really have got to admire what he's doing. There has to be that love in his heart and that commitment in his heart to be going
where he's going and the people that he is seeing. For an example, one of the stops that he made were a place where there is a lot of indigenous people that don't know Spanish, and they still speak with their native dialect. And so because of that, they are kind of like in a world of their own where the mainstream just kind of ignore them. A lot of poverty there. And so he goes to that part of the world, which politically, economically, maybe, and not even religiously, would really make a difference in the church, because most of them are not even Catholic. And it is it's not that when you listen to him, it's not that he's trying to convert people to Catholicism. In a speech that he made before, he was saying that a person does not even need to belong to a religion and to be a good person. It does not even have to believe in God as they believe him to be a good person. So the rationale and the reason for him going to a place like that is just the things about life that he's bringing, of how to live a life. And so the whole theme of his visit was mercy. And so as I'm thinking about this theme of mercy, and when he's talking about mercy being that we should be merciful to each other, merciful to our fellow man, and the important thing that he said about mercy is forgiveness. And as a course student, we would say, well, there's nothing to forgive. It's our brothers didn't do anything to us. It's us. It's our perception that we're a victim of this world that causes anything that we're supposed to be forgiven for. But but still, if what he's in that kind of framework, he's still putting the decision, responsibility for somebody's life in their own hands, because as you forgive your brother, so to speak, at least there's that continuity of trying to live in harmony. But as I found out, and I'm finding out, that is just it doesn't go far enough into liberating my own my own mind. But back to like the places that he went to. He went to that place, and then he also went to Juarez, and that place has suffered more death and violence and abuses of children, women, than any other city that the drug cartels are involved in. And even to the point where there are clergy that are getting killed. There was a bishop that got murdered over there, and supposedly Chapo is the one that killed him, but I'm not so exactly sure about that. But for him to put his life on the line, and go and send the message of peace as he understands it, even at the where he's risking his own life to bring that message of peace, I definitely say that he's definitely walking the talk. those guys over there in the cartels, they have the bazookas or whatever, the rocket launchers that could take him out of the sky, as he has this in one of the I believe in Mexico City, or even the other second place that he visited. He's flying around at an altitude and just driving over or flying over the perimeter pyramids and everything. And one of those guys, if someone really wanted to, one of the cartels wanted to, they could have taken him out. But as you can see, I guess he's just right now getting on a plane and leaving. There was no instances of violence or anything. Um, because I believe what he saw, he didn't see what the whole world saw. He didn't see the people's beliefs. I think all he saw was a cry for love, and the cry for love is a cry from the innocent, genuine part of ourselves that feels separate from love, that feels unlovable, and that was or maybe still is, my biggest um, core belief is that I am unlovable, and so as being unlovable, you act it out and try to fill it in all these different ways, and so I'm seeing that is that the what the Pope sees. He sees that reality, that these people aren't their beliefs and aren't their actions, and he saw them as he sees himself, is what I believe. There was no fear in him going anywheres and doing anything. And I have relatives in El Paso, and they strictly do not ever go to Juarez at all. And they say, if when I went over there like some couple months ago, to see my mother's sister, who was 93, I believe, and so she's getting up there. When I even made a suggestion of going across, and they said, no, no way, it's so dangerous. You got all the murders and and everything. And who told me I was unlovable? I did. I made it up. Um, so and then another place that he went to in Juarez was a prison. And I imagine it was a place, since it's in Juarez, where there was most of the people in there were probably, and maybe not, I don't know for sure, but I would suspect that were violent criminals, and that's the place that he goes. He goes to to them, and which is supposed to be like the worst of the worst. But then again, he sees them as who they truly are, that they're the innocent child of God, made in the image and likeness of innocence, of love. And as he's going through and talking to them and meeting them, he's just like one of the regular people, I would say. He's that humble, and I don't know, just the way he is. Most of the time, he had a smile on his face, and I was thinking, everywhere he goes, he has to go through all this protocol and meet this person, this mayor, this leader of the church, and this president, and this. I mean, on and on and on before he even gets, two steps off the plane. And I was going, how in the heck can that guy keep a smile on his face and treat everyone so lovingly, um, through all of these days, and everyone wanting attention, and he's him stopping for people. There was one scene though that happened today where he got mad at somebody, where he was hugging a small kid, and someone, I guess, was trying to push somebody out of the way or whatever, and he did get mad at him, and he told the person, and it didn't show who the person was. He was, and twice he told him, "Don't be egotistic. No seas egoísta," in Spanish, and you saw the upset in his face. But then 3 seconds later, he was still smiling and everything. So he just dropped it, which was really cool. But being a course student, I picked up on a couple things that go with the course. One of the things that he said was when he was talking about the demons in our heads. He was saying that don't pay attention to the demons in your head, and he said it's the Word of God that you focus on. Like don't pay them any mind, and just go with the Word of God. Because at some point this last year, he did say that there is no such thing as a devil and there's no such thing as hell. I wish that would have happened when I was growing up, because I grew up in Catholic Church. It was like they were pounded in our heads. But since he's saying that, now he just calls it the demon thinking, the demon in your head. And one of the things that he was saying a lot of, like I had mentioned, that there was a lot of mention of the ego in the things that he was talking about. And that is one of the things that is a key in the course, is that we don't make things real, that we just focus on the now, we focus on the present, we focus on what is, we focus on being the presence and the establishment of God as us already. And so it's the same thing as far as that is concerned. And then he said one thing also, when he was also talking about the demons in the head. He told him to ask the question, what is it for? And so I thought that was pretty surprising when I heard that. I was going, what? He said that, what is it for? And then one last thing I wanted to mention, that every time he had finished a service or whatever, he would say, "Pray for me." And so, like, I was thinking, okay, well, what does that actually look like in a let's say metaphysical sense? Okay, so here's the Pope, and I'm going to pray for the Pope. So I pray like in a Catholic way, oh, protect the Pope, blah blah blah, and all these things with the Pope. But in the vision of the Pope, you don't see the Pope as a sinner or a Pope that needs help or anything at all. So how does a Catholic really pray for the hope for the Pope? I'm sorry, for the Pope. And I'm thinking, if I was, back in the day, had to pray for the Pope, it would just be like, I already know what the Pope is. I would say keep the Pope as sacred, and keep him as whole in holiness or whatever. And so if I'm making that prayer and knowing him as sacred and holy, then it's actually a prayer about me. And I'm thinking that maybe he is doing that on purpose, to have them pray for him so that they'll know that truth is also true about him. Whatever their highest thoughts are, especially about the Pope, is probably where their highest thoughts are about God, let's say, on as high as a human being can be. And so I'm thinking that that is one of the reasons why he would say that, um, to instill in them that they're powerful, that everyone is has that power within him. If so, it infers that if someone's going to pray for me, then that means that they have some power to help or whatever. So it kind of, I think it kind of contributes to the the awareness that they have also that power to bring Christ into their worlds. So, anyways, I just wanted to mention, um, I mentioned some of that. It was really touching to see him and to see the people, especially because when I was seeing and watching the people, I was actually seeing and watching me. The I don't want to say hunger or desire, but the attraction to the holiness and attraction to the um, the sacredness that why would it be attractive to someone if that isn't what they sincerely believe is true in some sense? And just to see the passion of so many people that would that he touched, and all the crying, and he'd be in his little Pope mobile, and the people would be running by him. And when he flew over the pyramids, there were all these people on top of the pyramids just waving and going crazy, and all of that. And that's me. That is my sentiments exactly in that. I don't want to even say wanting. Wanting isn't even the word. It's just a realization that the Pope brought to the people. It's a realization of who I am spiritually, where I want to get spiritually. What is my spiritual truth in as myself? Because all these people that were there had to realize that it was like, um, it wasn't happening down here on earth, not at all, not at all. And so there was a higher ground, a higher place, and the Pope represented that for all of that people, and the people represented that in me. And I can say that I am like that in that part of that dedication with my daily work, and it's part of my life. I can't see going back to the way I was. It's just the way I'm living right now. So I can definitely relate. So, anyways, that's my. I kind of talked about the Pope a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it was a wonderful experience. I'm seeing that guy, and him, like I said, walking the talk to, maybe not as a course student, but as in the highest realm that I can imagine that he believes in. I think he's laying it all out, um, you know, doing the best with what he knows. Okay, so anyways, I was going to talk about um, something that came upon me while I was reading The Journey Beyond Words. And one of the things that comes up in the journey beyond words is to never make myself wrong. So I finally stopped and said, okay, what does this really mean? What is it for? And never make myself wrong. So I just wanted to read a little bit of in what context that it was written in, and then I'll go into it, my thought process in where all this led to, which was a really great really great place. Okay, and this is in the chapter Thoughts Are Not Neutral. Okay, so, and this is on the very last page of it, and it says, so begin even now, in so far as it brings you peace, to watch your thoughts. Do not struggle with them, do not fight them, do not despair at them, do not rejoice in them, merely let them be and watch them. When you have thoughts which create in you a sense of oneness, an awareness that none of you is special, that none of you is different, be of good cheer, and allow that experience to flow through you. Insofar as you can replace the thoughts of fear with thoughts of love and of oneness, then do it. If it happens not easily, do not despair and never make yourself wrong. Merely allow yourself to be. And do not forget that eventually your thinking will joyfully pass away as it takes you away from the illusion of separation. And without the illusion of separation, all is one, all is the same, all is God, and that is not but love. So in reading that part of don't ever make myself wrong, okay, so what is he really trying to lead into? And so in my thinking, does it mean that I don't judge what I do as wrong? Or I mean, let's say I made a mistake in math, okay, in calculating some numbers, and I did it, and I didn't wrongly, okay. So how can he say, like, don't make myself wrong, even if it's an obvious math mistake? And so what I came up with is what he really means is the experience, the whatever experience that I am having, is don't make that wrong. Just like the very first paragraph that I read, it says just watch your thoughts. Do not struggle with them. Don't fight them. Don't despair at them. Don't rejoice in them. Merely let them be. So what I got out of that is that whatever my experience is in whatever I'm aware of, that it is my truth. It is real in my experience. Not so much it's real in the sense of a spiritual reality, but it is real in my experience, what I'm experiencing right now, whether it be anger, whether it be attack, whether it be fear. All of that is what my experience is, and don't make that wrong. And the reason being is with what I'm experiencing I'm experiencing it with awareness. And awareness is all that I have to experience anything. If I'm going to experience love, if I'm going to experience compassion, if I'm going to experience fear, whatever the experience is all going to come through my awareness. It can't happen any other way. So if this thing called awareness, if I'm going to raise my consciousness into a spiritual consciousness, it has to be through my awareness. So it tells me that what constitutes my awareness, if anything that ever comes to me can only come through this awareness. We know as Korsun that nothing comes from the outside, that it only reflects the awareness and my belief system that I have and what I'm aware of. So the way I'm seeing this, what this awareness is, it is a blank slate as far as thoughts, where thoughts are not present, but the allness of intelligence, the allness of wisdom, the allness of love, every solution to every mathematical problem is resides in awareness. Every harmony, every concert, piano piece of work, every harmony that music can possibly make is awareness. Is resides in this state of awareness that is available for everyone. Every potential that exists, it is present in this awareness. Is where I went with this, is my quote unquote conclusion. And maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but this is just like all my shows. This is just what my experience is. And then this awareness, since there is no thought, there is no judgment, there is no right or wrong, there is no better or worse, there's no separate and connecting. A it's all just pure potential, pure wisdom, pure intelligence, pure truth is what this awareness is. And so, whatever or whenever I have this thinking, this ego thought, it is an attempt to change 1 + 1 = 2 as awareness, or what whole state of wholeness and completeness that awareness is, into a very limited realization of what I'm being aware of. And where um, what I'm concluding out of this is that this is something that starts right from the beginning, from a set of our um, our sense of separation. Is just soon as we are a material, physical essence, and we start realizing, we start seeing things outside of us, then we the sense of our body, our sense of separateness, starts taking on a reality of its own. And then we start believing, our awareness starts believing. The awareness doesn't believe, but we are using that awareness to believe that this is who we are. So as we get older and older, we learn our name, we learn our race, we learn our gender, we learn what school we go to, what country. I'm an American, you're this, and I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican. So all of these things slowly but surely start blocking the awareness that is truly who we are, the oneness of who we truly are. And so these identities of that separate self is what is blocking our true access to what awareness has to offer us, has to it's that unconditioned place of God is what I'd like to call it. It's of the God essence of all of everything that is true of God as spirit resides in this space of awareness. And like I was saying before, if it doesn't come, if it's not manifested through my awareness, then it can't come to me. I mean, this is where I'm at right now. Maybe it can come some other way from somebody, maybe I don't know. But the only way I can perceive any advance in consciousness or whatever is through my awareness. How else can God manifest as me through me if it's not through my awareness? It can't really do through my body because I'm not my body and the body is just neutral. So it has to come. And really it doesn't even come through my awareness. The thing is that I already am this awareness and I'm already total awareness, just like everyone is. They all are awareness, um, and can plug into this field of spiritual truth as to the extent that they are not blocking it with ego beliefs. Um, so in going back to the original where I start as far as the awareness. So everything that I am experiencing as awareness is correct for me, or at, or I hate to say should, but it is that I should look at that and say, okay, this is okay. This is just is what it is. It is genuine, it's honest, and it's sincere. It is the best I can do with the wisdom knowledge that I have. And so that is what I believe that Jesus is saying, is that never make myself wrong. And um, so what that brought me to is this whole experience of awareness. So I started to think, okay, what is this awareness? And how do I experience this awareness more and more to a a level where I can help. I don't know about help, or enhance enhance the removal of the blockages, which is what the course is all about. It's removing the blockages. And same thing with Diedrich Wolsack's six-step process, is removing beliefs of separateness um, from my awareness. And there's references like what I just read into the Journey Beyond Words, that is to be aware of what we're thinking, and it's like an observer. Observer to be in a space where I'm like watching a movie or something, and get that distance between what I call the ego, which is my survival mechanism of the physical, which I am learning to accept more and more as a function, that it's not an evil entity with a will of its own, that it is actually looking after my well being in a physical platform or makeup of what it knows how, because it doesn't know spiritual truth unless it's introduced as something that is going to help my survival. And I think there are some teachers that teach it that way, but I mean I don't know a whole lot of them, but it just makes sense to me. If awareness is all there is, then at and if I fight with all there is, which reject what my awareness is experiencing or telling me, and reject it, deny it, um, then then all of that does is just make it um, real, to where it is a conflict of what is. Then I'm not accepting my experience of it by saying that this is wrong and this is evil, and I shouldn't think this. The thing is that, yeah, okay, I am thinking this way. This is where I am at right now, and this is my experience. I'm not going to deny what my experience is, because that experience is telling me that I am trying to change the eternal awareness. I'm trying to change that that field, that sense, that spirit of wisdom, of intelligence, of love, of who I really am, and not just me, just every single thing, is what I am doing when I'm fighting with it, and when my spiritual, my awareness is telling me that peace is the truth of me. I'm saying, no, man, they're fighting war over here, or this guy said this to me, and and on and on and on. And as long as I fight the nature of what I'm seeing with, then there's always going to be that conflict. And awareness is all it is doing, is it is seeing that and letting me know that this isn't who I am. That's where the conflict comes in. That's where the unease comes in. That's where the self judgment. I mean, that's where the fear comes in. And fear is a major one, because the awareness is telling me that I'm not going to die, that I'm not mortal, I'm not a mortal body, that I am spirit. I'm not going to die. But everybody has got that experience, or that fear that they're going to die, and that's what the whole ego is for. The ego was designed to preserve the physical life, and so we're at an odds with it, and we're blocking that spiritual essence of us by believing that there's such a thing as death, and also believing that we are bodies. And this is really actually, to make that switch is a lot um, easier said than done. And I was thinking about this, and kind of like, and as I was thinking about the Pope and the people that he's going to visit, like the indigenous people that have it so hard. Um, that is harder, I think, and this is just my perception, and I could be totally 100% wrong, is a person, but it's this is true for me. When I'm not feeling well and I'm worried about like finances or how I'm going to eat the next day, or I got a headache or something like that, it's a lot harder for me to get into that field of objectiveness and to where I can say, okay, I'm not a body, and really experience that and believe it if I have all this pain in my body, or if I'm hungry, and all, like so many people that are going to bed hungry in these parts, and it just it just makes it, as far as I'm concerned, makes it harder to get to experience a spiritual growth, or be able to feel comfortable enough to sit down and be still enough and study it. But then I can also see what the other side is that if you're so much in pain, then you also are able to just try to block out everything of the body, and be get into that, jump into that spiritual consciousness, where there are examples in that I've read that's what happens to people. Like Byron Katie is one example, where she was just so far down, where she made that jump really quick. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that the Pope talking to all of these people, and saying that they need more services, they need jobs, they need food, they need all of these things. In a way, I could see how that would lead to a them being able to get in a spiritual essence easier than if they're going to bed hungry every single day, and just worrying about food, and having the ego kicking in, running the lives of how are you going to survive? How are we going to survive this? And then I think about my situation and how hard I believe that it is, that I have the time to study. Okay, I work a regular job, but I have a house. I just moved into a home. I got plenty of food in the fridge. I got, all the books that I need to study. I have so many resources to study with, and it's still a hard thing for me to do. I mean, it's like, I mean, I'm kind of like ashamed of myself for believing that this is something that's really hard to do. But it's that that's just the way it is in my life. I guess it's relative, but seeing those people, it just makes me feel like, you know, um, get off my victim, if there is such a thing. I didn't think I was thinking a victim, but maybe I am, or blame, or whatever, because I have a lot going for me, and I'm sure a lot of us that are listening out here also have a lot going for you. For you can, like I said, I hate to say should, but maybe um, should be doing a little bit better. But what I started doing in this experimenting with awareness is I got into a place where I just started focusing, and I'm not even really focusing, just letting everything just be, and just be in that space of awareness, to where there was no thoughts going in my head, and I just would see something. It's almost like the very first lesson in the course. Nothing means anything, but you're doing that with your mind. But this is like the same thing where you just observe or just be aware, like in my living room, there's a TV, I move my eyes over, okay, there's a picture, but I don't put words into it. I just being aware of awareness is what it basically is. You know, being aware of that field that the objective field of awareness is not attached to my subjective self, and try to let that be, and just be aware, be just that presence of that awareness that is living my life for me, that is living my brothers and sisters lives, um, that awareness that is one. And so I've been doing that all week, and it's to the point now where I'm kind of like, I don't want to say hooked or addicted, whatever, but I'm getting a lot of results. I am getting a lot of results of things that used to hook me, that I can move back and get in a space of that awareness, and things don't have that jolt to hook. They don't have that impact anymore. And if I'm just keep that space of awareness, anything that bothers me, you know, I'm using that as a trigger now. When anything bothers me, is to get into that just state of awareness and just be, and just be, you know. And you know, when I'm driving down the street, I get in there in that state, and now I'm noticing, you know, how many beautiful plants, how many beautiful trees are there, you know, and looking at the sky, oh man, that sky is really blue today, and or the temperature, um, being in that state, I'm observing, I'm seeing a lot a lot more than oh shoot, I got to get to work, and just focusing on the road, and just driving there and missing all the life and livingness that is around me. And one of the surprising things that I've noticed also is that I can experience the oneness with everything through being in that state of awareness, and saying, okay, they you know, everyone says that God is in everything, and that really doesn't work for me. Like, I see a wall, okay, God's in the wall, you know, or everything is one. Okay, how am I related to the wall? You know, but in this state of awareness, what I'm perceiving or getting is that it is awareness that within somebody created, with that intelligence and wisdom, this wall. You know, how to cut the wood, intelligence did that. How to paint it, intelligence did that. Intelligence formulated that, awareness formulated the paint in order to make it what it is. And then so I get the awareness that everything is for me. Awareness has created everything that I see to serve itself as awareness. A couch I'm sitting on, you know, awareness said, you know, you need some place to sit on, you know, and so somebody with that same awareness that I am experiencing made the couch, made it out of leather, you know, and it is really amazing that everything I'm seeing is awareness reflected back at me, and it gets to the realization that I myself, as awareness, is really observing the manifestation of myself as awareness, or awareness as everything. For me to see oneness in everything, I could do it a lot in a more understandable, meaningful way by being in that state of awareness, especially with people. Just what I was saying, how the Pope knows who everyone is as innocents, but every single one of those people have that awareness, that objective awareness that is their life, that makes up their life. But like me, I had didn't even know what it was. I thought what I believed, what I thought was me. I believed that I was my thoughts. I believed that I thought that I was my body. But when I look at people now and I see them, I can come from awareness and then just try to, when I look in their eyes, I'm talking to that aware state, and it's a lot easier for me to look past beliefs, behaviors, their gender, their all the bodily physical characteristics that I used to define in a person. And so this I started surfing a little bit on the internet, and there are things out there with this kind of philosophy of defining and working with awareness. But for me, it was something that I really was not looking for. But what I was looking for was to never make myself wrong. I was looking for what that really meant, and that's where I ran into the study, this whole concept of awareness. So it looks like my time is up. I want to thank Lynn, and I just want to also say that I am very grateful, and I love the fact that I'm aware. I'm aware now that I'm grateful, and I can feel every part of me, and part of me, my belief as reflecting that gratefulness. And so I will be back next week right after Veronica, and just want to tell everyone that I love all you guys. Thanks for listening.